Well, thanks for having me back, everybody. All right, I'm going to start off in a weird way, and I have been chomping at the bit to get up here because of last Saturday. Our potluck, or whatever you want to call them. They're potlucks now, aren't they? Did we change the name? Potlucks? Okay. I have to apologize / repent, ask forgiveness, because, oh man, this was bugging me. It bugged me the minute I opened my pie hole. If you were here, I don't know if you, and most likely most of you will probably give me that look like you did, but it doesn't matter because it's what the Lord basically immediately told me. Let me give you background. I made the best, worst mistake I've ever made. I made about a month ago, and I asked the Holy Spirit to put me on a short leash. And I said, I want to shorten that little gap in time between when I do something wrong and then you whack me upside my head. And it's interesting. He answers those prayers really fast. The other ones, Lord, heal my back, another this and this. He's like, I'm going to take my sweet time. But that one, Joe, I'm going to do so. You got it, buddy. And so like the minute I said it, it had been a week where the Lord had been showing me constantly, there's pride there, there's this here, this. So once again, this is kind of ironic, I thought I was doing well. And then the potluck. And Shane was standing up and he was going over stuff, asking questions of everybody in his usual laid-back manner. And he was getting perilously close to what I wanted to preach on tonight. And I remember sitting there like, oh, okay, good. He went that way. And then people were answering. I'm like, don't say it, Lord. Just, make their tongue fat so they can't talk. And they can't say it. Don't blow. Oh. And then, I don't know if you remember this, but then all of a sudden, and there was like 3 times when I almost said it, and I total disobedience. I thought, okay, no, not to say it. And then something would happen, I'm like, there it goes again. And I finally opened my mouth and I said something to the effect of, hey, wait till next Saturday. We're going to have somebody who's going to bring it all together, something like that. The minute I said it, I swear it was like, very lovingly, I could see God almost looking like, see me after. And I was like, I know, my gosh. And I left as fast as I could. Well, we had to break stuff down, which was painful. I wanted to just bolt, but then we had to break stuff down and everything. And I was just like, by the time I got home, first thing I did was like, Lord, forgive me for that. Now, again, you might be looking at me like, what the? No, see, that's why I said most people will be like, don't even know. But I knew the spirit I was doing it. It was kind of this, don't step on my line. Don't forget me. Oh, don't make me irrelevant. Oh gosh, all this kind of stuff. Me is basically, and not trusting the Lord. Not just. And I was like, wow, man. It's like, well, Lord, 1, thank you for the short leash. 2, do you have anything to take the pain away? Because that now hurts. And in other words, don't do it again. So I wanted to start off by just saying, forgive me for that. So, there, now, here we go. The massage. That's my typo. No, just kidding. The message. Now, here's what I found interesting, you guys. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I really tend to think that society, people, culture, there's this longing for some kind of substance, deepness, spirit. We call it spirituality. That's a really hip thing now. And I get my vitamins from Vitamin Cottage. And then when you go in there, man, half the time you got to pray over yourself because there's all this crap like Gaia and Mother Earth and be kind to your mother. I'm like, my mom's in L.A., okay, and all this kind of stuff. And I think they're longing, and I think the church blows it. And I'll tell you the reason why. The church, if you've noticed, the real successful ones try to look hip. They're like little fashionistas. We try to look really cool in this. And we have little coffee bars, and we have all this neat little like t-shirts and shirts and stuff and donuts and cookies and blah, blah, blah. And the latest trend, and then the really, really hip, like top 40 sounding worship with the lights and fog and other things like that. And then here's what I find ironic. people are looking for something different, and yet the church is trying to look like society. Make sense? And then here's what I worry. It's not so, and trust me, guys, I've been to enough rock concerts in my life. I was a DJ. I like good sound systems, thumping this and boom, and I get the whole thing of lights and all that kind of stuff. Nothing wrong with those. Here's the problem, though. If we present the church that looks and sounds like society, and then people come and they stay, they visit and stay, that's the gospel you have to preach then. Now think of the danger of that. It's got to be hip. It's got to look cool. So that means then you're probably never going deep preaching the whole gospel. You've got to preach this kind of cool thing. I mean, think about what you don't hear. You don't hear a lot about the 10 Commandments. It's more like suggestions, I don't want to offend anybody. Don't want to be judgmental and all that kind of stuff. And then we're just afraid. Okay. And then, we're afraid to preach the whole gospel. We can't talk about sin. If we do talk about sin, I even heard one message one time, the preacher kept apologizing. Hey, I'm sorry to be so, black and white. I'm like, why? And you could see people I'm off the hook. Now I can go after church and get drunk. And so, now I can still go to the bar or whatever. And then, hell, we can't even mention hell. Now think about that, okay? So here's my goal right now. Allow me to scratch an itch. One of the fun little perks about being able to get up here and get in front, I even texted this to Michelle earlier. I just got done texting. Oh, Chanel, by the way, says hi. She's at a wedding, her cousin's wedding back in Wisconsin. So pray for her twice. She's at a wedding and she's in Wisconsin. Anyway, but I text Michelle and I said, you're getting a chance to peek behind the curtain and see how my mind works. So this is really scary. So some of you will be going, pray for Joe, because I just think of these things. So when we were worshiping, there was some lesser lights on. Is that correct? Patty, can you do it like you had that? Michelle, we're going to set some little mood and aspect. I always wanted to go to a church like this. Okay? So hold on a second. I don't want you looking and peeking. Michelle, go ahead and play that music that I really love. It's really holy sounding. Oh, here we go. You'll see where I'm going with this in a second. People at home, don't tune out. Anyone here dig Gregorian chant like I do? Look at these guys. What the heck is a Gregorian chant? There's no culture anymore. Okay, you're going to laugh. But I have to have one of these for every tribe of Israel. That makes it spiritual. I'm so glad my wife isn't here. I'd be looking up. Oh, yeah. She'd be looking at me like, honey, don't. Only you like this stuff. It's not true. That's from the pit of hell. All right, here we go. The only reason why we should use lighters. Yeah. Did you hear that, Coloradoans? Idea what I'm trying to get at right now. See, let me tell you where I came up with this. There's a really cool pastor down in the Springs called Glenn Packiam. And sometimes at his services, he's a great pastor down there, and he said, sometimes you'll notice when people kind of come into church, they'll fly into the parking lot. If you're like me, you're going on two wheels, about 104 miles an hour. You got all this stuff. You're texting friends, this going on. You're arranging for dinner later on. Oh, yeah, we'll get together. The Avs are playing, or whatever, all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, we walk right in, we shake a few hands, we walk right over, and then we start immediately getting into our Jesus mode. So what he does sometimes, and I love this, is he You can go ahead and start. He does stuff like this where he has a little mood going. He'll have the lights a little dimmer, and then he'll have all this old world church stuff going. And he makes people absolutely like say, I want everybody quiet. Sit down, be quiet for a second, try to move as little as possible, and just be still. Just slow everything down, your minds, everything. So anyway, thanks for letting me scratch my itch. Anyway, see, that's what goes on in here. All right, here we go. Title of the message, What's the Point? Now, here's what's really weird. Remember, of course, you guys are all going to flatter me. Remember last time I got up and preached, I said my message got blown apart. I had no idea what was going on. And I even stopped for a second. I said, what's the point? Why are we here? And I was like, where'd that come from? Well, I know where it came from. It was for tonight. It's just the Lord was giving it me then. So what's the point? And here's what I was so anxious and so chomping at the bit to talk tonight, especially in light of what Shane was talking about at the potluck. I honestly believe, you guys, we have to, do we want the lights, is everyone going to go to sleep, or should I turn the lights brighter? Is this better? Oh, for the video, yeah, people have to see there. I call these the ugly lights. Have I ever mentioned that before? Those are those lights you turn on at the end of the club. Oh. Anyway, oh yeah, I did mention that. Okay, it's my go-to. Anyway, okay, here we go. Shane and I get together and we talk about this all the time, and anyone around us like sits there and goes, what is wrong with these guys? These guys are nuts. And I think something hit me a while back, you guys. I think we need to change the way we see church, talk about the church, do church. And what we do all the time is kind of like, well, let's get this program, we need this, here's what we'll do. Again, like I started off, this is why we have the little coffee bar, the hip stuff, and all these things, and I get that. But I think we're missing something, and this is what absolutely hit me. So here we go. Time for a sword drill, so get those babies out. Matthew 16:18, please. And if that incense gets too much, my wife says, it's giving me a headache. I'm like, well, then move. No, I said, I go, okay, so if this gets too much, tell me and I'll put it out. 16:18, sorry, Matthew 16:18. Who besides a Severson has it?
And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Okay, here's what's really interesting. We always like to cherry pick that verse, and let me just share something that I came across doing some research, my own little nerdy reading and stuff. If you recall what was said before that, who do you guys say that I am? And then Peter just comes up with this, well, you're the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And then Jesus says to him, Peter, you know, Simon, you didn't get that. My Father gave it to you, blah, blah. And then he says, upon this rock, I will build my church. And a lot of people run out and go, oh, Peter means rock. He's going to build it. I mean, Catholicism was based on this. Oh, we're going to build it on St. Peter. That's what we start. He's the first one, blah, blah, blah. I was reading this book, and all of a sudden I sat there and I was like, wow. God wasn't talking about that. Jesus wasn't talking about building it on Peter. It's what Peter said. On that, that's the foundation. That's the rock I'm going to build it on. But now that's my little side thing. Did you hear the key word Pete read? On this rock, and we get distracted by that, I will build whose? I swear, the minute that hit me, I was like, wow. I had to grab like this little piece of paper and start writing. My church, guys, I swear, if we see this as the church of Jesus Christ, this is Jesus' church. It's not ours. We act like it's ours, but it's not. It belongs to Jesus. So now keep all these together. Watch how we're changing the lens. So the first thing we realize is every one of you tonight, you came to Jesus' church, not Shane's. Okay? Now, this is Jesus' church. Now here we go. Listen to this next one here. And since the church belongs to Jesus, this is why I just started scribbling down like crazy. And I thought, yeah, that's just mine. And it kept coming back, you guys. And it kept building and building. Here we go. So since this is Jesus' church, I think we need to be really careful about how we talk about it. Now, this might step on some toes. It's very fashionable to rip on the American church, isn't it? You'll hear like, oh, those mega, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden something hit me. I was at a Barnes & Noble, then I went to Mardel's, and then I went to this new bookstore, which my wife was like, oh, great, Lifeway. So now I've got like all these bookstores I can go to. And I started noticing, and it's really avant-garde and very cool to rip on the church now. The American church, blah, 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 blah. Well, listen, I understand, I really do, please hear me. I understand that there does need to be a little bit of self-criticism. We need to clean house. We need to make sure we're being holy, all those things. But here's what I'm getting at, you guys. We need to be careful about how we talk about, because it's Jesus' church. So when we rip on it, we're ripping on Jesus' church. Well, Joe, but no, I'm ripping on what people have done to it, but it's still Jesus' church. Okay, now watch where I'm going with this, okay? Now, I think we have too much criticizing, and here's what bothers me about the criticism, you guys. Culture, society, they're watching. They hear a bunch of Christians ripping on churches, then almost like subconsciously, we give them the green light to rip on church too. And then I think there's even a more subtle thing going on. If they see a bunch of Christians all sitting there snipping at each other, no, you don't do tongues. Yes, you do tongues. No, you don't wear holy jeans. Yes, you wear holy jeans. You don't need a coffee bar. You blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. You know what basically the society says? Screw you guys. You guys can't even stand each other, and you're all ripped. Why should I even bother going? I don't blame them. I'd be like, I don't want to go to that. Get your guys' crap together, and then let me know, and then I'll show up for that. Problem is, see, the cycle, we don't see. It's our church. How does God see, I'm going to do my church? And then here's the other part I want to bring up. Those of us who grew up in rowdy neighborhoods, I remember there were some guys in my neighborhood that were so freaking bad that these guys, I'm picturing a guy one time, he left something out unlocked. And I swear to you, that stayed there for like a day and a half. Nobody touched it. I mean, you saw some people going over to him, they're like, hey, whoa, that's, they're like, oh, whew, and they walked right on by. Now think about it. This church belongs to Jesus. I really honestly think if we're afraid to touch somebody's belongings because they're such a bad dude and, I don't want the blowback from that, man. I don't want the guy to kick my butt. We're talking about Jesus' church. It's his belongings. I think we should be really, really careful about how we treat it. Are you all following me? Okay. Now, and then here's the thing too. I think Jesus deserves at least that much from us. Okay? Now, sword drill number 2. Ephesians 2:19, please. You guys all get where we're going so far? Everyone, any questions? I always like sometimes to open it up. I mean, any questions at all? Makes sense? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Okay, with me? All right.
Now therefore, you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God.
Okay, somebody pull up 1 Timothy 3:15. You try to get up here and say that. 1 Timothy 3:15.
So that if I am delayed, you will know how people must conduct themselves in the household of God. Is that it?
That's good. Let's just stop right there. Perfect. Now, did you catch there's a key word in both those verses? Anyone get it? I never noticed it either. One day it just like, boom. I'm like, wow. I'm embarrassed. Household of God. Now watch where I'm going. I think this will change the way we see it too. I'm going to assume 99% of us in this room are born again. Okay? You know what that means? When we're born again, we are adopted into the family of God. Yeah? And then, like regular adoption, then we're kids in the household of God. This is the household of God. Okay? You with me so far? So this is the household of God. So now watch this. What if we changed, now we've changed our view, okay? This is not our church. This is the church of Jesus Christ. This belongs to Jesus. And then we see ourselves as, this is the household of God. We're adopted sons and daughters. Now that means we're not going to church. We're going to God's house for a family get-together. Watch this. Hopefully this resonates with you. It did me. Hey, Joe, what are you doing this weekend? I get asked that a lot. Oh, I'm going to church. Now, maybe you'll get if they're a Christian. Where do you go? I go to Christ Fellowship. Where's that? Blah, blah, blah. Then you're done. Oh, I go to this. Okay, great. Listen to the difference. Hey, Joe, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm getting together with my family at God's house. Now, can you imagine if you told somebody that, what they would do? What? Oh, that's cute. No, I'm getting together with my family at God's house. What do you mean? See? Now you have a chance to be a witness. Well, here's the thing. When we're saved, born again, oh, Joe, what does that mean? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then we were adopted in the family of God. Like you. Like, are you a Christian? They're like, oh, of course I am. Everyone says they are. And then you go, well, then that means you are an adopted son, daughter of God. And so you get the opportunity to gather with his family and go to what we call church, but that's the household of God. That belongs to him. Oh. See, now you got a chance to preach a little. See my point? Now, here, I really think that it will definitely get some follow-up questions, things like that. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. I've been wanting to do this so much. This is so fun. Would anybody here, and Shane kind of alluded to it a few weeks ago, would anybody here go to a family gathering? Now, picture it. You're invited. Hey, we're going to abuelas. You're going to your grandma's this weekend. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Be there at 5 o'clock. Great. Now, watch. Now, would any of you go, what time? 5. Get there at 4:55. Walk in. Shake a couple hands. Couple little, okay. Sit down. Eat. Say goodbye to those couple people. And then split. Why not? I mean, tell me, that'd be rude. What else?
It's where you want to be.
Okay. It's your family. Now we know how God feels. Follow me? Isn't that what we do? Come right in. What time to start? Okay, here we go. And we get in. Hey, and then all of a sudden we eat and run. Message good. Boom. Sure. Pull out. We'd never do that at a family gathering, but we do it at this one. So let me ask. Everybody in here tonight, I want you to think about this. We're related spiritually. Correct? I mean, is it right? I mean, am I right? We are related spiritually. Okay? Kind of channeling a little Sister Sledge. We are family. All right? True? Yes. We are. So why don't we act like it? So here's what I want you to try to do, just to show you what I'm talking about. Next Saturday or Wednesday, Saturday, when you're getting ready to go to church, sometime this weekend, if somebody asks you, oh, what are you doing Saturday? Just try. Watch what it does to your brain. You will immediately, I do it too. I'm going to, just try, stop, and go, I'm getting together with my spiritual family at God's house down over there in Littleton. You know, on Remington. Like, what? Just try it. Watch how weird it'll be. Okay? And then, as you're going, I want you to sit and think about this. Same feeling. You're going to a family gathering. We should act that way. Not zip. Listen, I'm guilty. Right over there, my little section. I got here a little too late, so Sean, you took my seat. No, just kidding. But there's my little section, right? We get our little comfort zone, look over a few people. Hey. Okay, maybe after, if they're walking by us, we'll do the little, how's it going? And then we go. We'd never do that at family, okay? Now, let me ask you guys this. Would you say that what connects this family, the fact that we believe in Jesus Christ, would you say that that is more important than DNA, blood, family tree, Do me a favor. Matthew 12:49.
And stretching out his hand toward his disciples, he said, "Here are my mothers and my brothers."
Okay. Now, does everyone know the context of that verse? Jesus in this really crowded house, and somebody comes up and says, "Hey, Jesus, your mom and sister brothers are outside. They want to talk to you." And then he said that. Okay, here we go. Luke 14:26.
If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother and wife and children and brothers and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple.
Okay, first, let's clear this up. I love doing all those cultural studies, and if, like, when you read the Bible as if Jesus read it and understanding that he was a rabbi, he did all. That was an age-old rabbinical kind of a thing they would do. It's the way they would paint like a ridiculous extreme. So he does not mean from now on, okay, listen, this is very important, you young kids, you don't get to look over at your dad tonight or mom and go, "I hate you." Thank you, Jesus. And then, no, that's not what he's talking about. He's basically talking about, in those two verses, this family is more important than your earthly one. Now, before I go on, does everybody agree with that?
Yeah, but we don't act like it.
Okay. You all agree with that? So see how what I'm trying to do is reorient our brains here, how we see all of this. Okay, so then guess what? Next time Shane gets up, it's not Pastor Shane doing his usual godly announcements, and these are the little things we're going to do. I mean, could you imagine if one of your favorite family members said, hey, listen, let's next weekend we all get together and do this and this. We'd be like, yeah, okay. No, we're like, oh, shoot, I've got this. I'm going to be really tired that day. No, we'd be like, oh, yeah, man, I love that guy. We're good. It's family. Well, I love Jesus. Well, let's see where he fits in on Wednesday at this time, like that. Okay? So here we go. Okay, so you're all with me on that. Now, I have a couple ideas on how to help us feel, be, act a little bit more like family. I've run these by Shane, and we haven't nailed them down. Just a few. I just want to see. We're going to take the temperature of the crowd here and see what the rest of the family thinks. It's like now picture that one family member. Oh, I know you bring a little a friend of yours. You're like, who's that guy? Oh, that's Joe. He's crazy. Watch him. Okay, so here we go. Ready? I think we need biographies. Why don't we do this? Shane and I, or we can all come up with a series of questions, and then we just select certain people, like here we go, right here. We give it to her. Now, you know what she does? She answers. First name, last name. Where were you born?
In
Littleton. Okay. Where'd you go to high school?
Legend.
Okay. Let's see. Legend. Okay, gotcha. Okay, there you go. Now, see right there. Oh, not. So when we find out why, we start getting to know her. Brothers, sisters?
2 brothers.
2 brothers. Older?
Younger.
Okay. Now we just keep going. See, that's what the Bible will do. Aren't you learning about her? Your sister? See? What are your hobbies? What do you like to do? Read? What do you like reading? Fiction, nonfiction? Fiction. Okay. Did you go to college? What'd you get a degree in? Or what'd you go for?
I didn't finish it, but I went for English.
English? Okay. So now we just keep going. Now watch. What if we had a little thing, and then we could submit a picture if you want. I usually submit a silverback gorilla whenever they ask for a picture of me, because I don't like my picture, so they get a silverback gorilla. So I'm just saying that so none of you take it. So we put a picture, and now can you imagine if we kept a notebook in front, and then there's hers in there. And then we go to Nina one day. And then we go all over, and now imagine if we're sitting there, and here's why I'm doing this. We feel really uncomfortable walking up going, I'm sorry, what's your name again? See, we don't want to do that. So, what would be really cool? Watch this. We slip out real quick. Okay. Walk up. Hey, there we go. See, now, okay. So what do you think? Bios, here's another one. Prayer circles, that was one of our ideas. We do the prayer circles as often as possible. Mix. We like the potlucks. Now, here's one. I'm very excited. Shane, if I'm stealing your thunder, you can say, Joe, and I'll try to stop. We thought of this idea at one of our meetings, and it was one of the meetings where Michelle attended. If Michelle checks off certain boxes, she's allowed to come to the meetings. Okay. Kind of not. We thought about? Tell me what you guys think. Let's just talk. We're a family. What if we did this? We tried to commit, each of us will do this at least twice. Maybe that's ambitious, but let's just try twice a month. What we do is we do Saturday dinners. Now, before you go, oh, my Lord, twice a week? No. On, let's say, this one particular Saturday, Chanel and I we do 5 o'clock, and we pick, let's just say Jim and Brandy. And now, for those of you that are good at cooking, you would say, come to my house. Really. Chanel and I would be saying, let's meet somewhere. Our treat, because neither of us really like cooking. And you don't want to eat what we cook. And so we'd say, hey, let's meet at Freddy's. Or do you guys like this? Yeah, let's meet there. And then now we would do a couple of those. Now, it doesn't have to be with Jim and Brandy that month twice, but we make a point of going, okay, that's one. I want to do it again. Now, what if maybe 2 weeks later, we said, okay, you guys, hey, can you guys make it at 5? Okay, come on down. And we go with them. And what if we all did that? And you guys, and you're adults, so you don't have to have it all structured and set up like it has to be these people that. We just start getting up and asking and talking. And we can tweak this, because I know Michelle's brain's already working like, okay, Joe, there's a problem with, But you get my point. What would you guys think of that? And if you don't do it, we boot your little heathen butt out. No, I'm just kidding, okay? Yeah. Now, okay, this one, I better take a drink first. Might be my last sip. Michelle will, in fact, give me that look, squirm a little, and I'll see that look on her face. It's coming. Here it is. Ready? I call it Anyone Noah? Anyone Noah? Anyone know a... So watch this. My garbage disposal goes out. Hey, anyone know a good plumber? Anyone know of this? Oh, it's tax season. Shoot, I hate numbers. Anyone know a? Anyone know a? Now, I remember when I brought this up at Praise a long time ago, Chanel was like, okay, here's the problem. We saw this happen, and I totally get it, but we're small, so I think we could maybe get away with something like that. I don't know. We can tweak that one. What do you guys think? You see, because when we keep it like, if I need somebody to fix my back fence, why would I go and give money and business to somebody I don't? Let's give it here first. Now, if someone here goes, there's really nobody here, fine. Then we'll go, or hey, guess what? Anyone know? Well, I got a good friend, man. He goes over to the blah, blah, blah church because he lives in a rural. He'll do it. There we go. And now we're taking care, like what Shane was talking about, remember? And if you keep reading those scriptures, you'll see where, I can't remember, one time Solomon, when they had this down pat, there wasn't one poor person in that whole entire kingdom because they took care of each other. Right? And then I thought, emergency fund. And here's what I'm thinking. What if we, and maybe there's already allocations for this, I don't know, but what if we took up a little collection? You could have a box in the back, or you could do the traditional pass a plate or whatever. But we just took, take your change. If there's a buck or two laying around, I know so much is like plastic nowadays, but if I've got an extra $2, I promise you, I'm going to go spend it on something really stupid. Like, ooh, caramel M&Ms, $1.39. I'll try. Well, why not? Got $2. No, instead, we put it in this little emergency fund so that, now this, I don't know if any of you, maybe we need to pray about pride, but if I were really, really, really desperately broke, I would not come up and go, hey, Shane, can I get a second real quick? Hey, guys, total failure as a man, broke. So if you could help, got $5? I wouldn't do that, but here's what would be neat. What if somebody were to shoot a text over to Shane and Michelle, a little email saying, man, I don't know what to do. I need this, and if I don't, they're shutting off the power, or they're going to do this, they're going to take my car, whatever. What if we just have a little emergency fund that we all just keep chipping into, and it's just dedicated to that? So here's my thought. Think of those things, and let's not do all of them, okay? Because that's just ambitious. Here's what I think we should do. Michelle, you ready? I think we need to do, can you grab the lights, Patty, real quick? Oh, there we go. Baby steps.
It means setting small, reasonable goals for yourself, one day at a time. One tiny step at a time.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. So you're peeking behind. My mind always, I'll say something like that, baby step. Oh. See, I just do that, and then it helps me remember. Baby steps. Okay, now that we see the church differently, again, here we go. What's the point? Now, Shane, I'm probably only going to touch on this. We might have to do another message one night, but let me just briefly touch on it, and it's the word holiness. I was reading somewhere the other day, and when I read this, I was just like, I was in tears, and I was like, wow. And this is for another teaching down the road, but it was in Ephesians, and it was from the Message Bible, and it essentially said this, you guys, the whole goal of this, God wants us to be whole and holy. And it made me think, God made this perfect universe, correct? It operated and functioned perfectly. And then if you read in Genesis, oh my gosh, can you imagine what we blew? What a bunch of dipsticks. God walked in the garden in the cool of the afternoon. That's what we had in our hands. That was it. And what do? Oh, and then we blew it. And you know what God's been doing ever since we introduced sin on this planet? He's been trying to make us whole and holy. Restore us to that relationship. So, guys, holiness, here's what I jotted down. If the church is not holy, it's not really a church. What do you think? And here's why I came up with that, why I thought about this. Society is watching us to see how we act and sound. And if we act and sound like Jesus, they want that. Guys, we don't need all the fancy stuff. We could meet in a garage and they will come. But the reason I think the reason why we need the coffee bars and the hip this and the really cool that is because we're not holy, like I said earlier. We got to get our crap together, man. And so I can't blame them. If we're not practicing what we preach, why would they want to come? You know, if we're not holy, that's the key, holiness. It's not about all that other stuff. What is that? It's that feel, okay? Now, real fast, grab a pen, jot these down. Leviticus 20:26. I don't want to keep this too long, so I'm just going to write them down. Leviticus 20:26. That one is basically God saying, I'm holy, so be holy. 1 Peter 1:16. That verse there is, if you read it, when you read it, not if. It is basically Peter talking about the pursuit of godliness, this and this, and then he says, God said, be holy for I'm holy, so he repeats it in the New Testament. And then Hebrews 12:14. This one, I want us, Shane's going to get so mad at me for this one. I'm almost tempted, I've been kind of itching for another tattoo. I almost thought, but then I don't know, because I think a lightning bolt would just them a big pile of dust. Hebrews 12:14. Without holiness, no one can see God. Now that doesn't preach very popularly. Without holiness, every one of you young kids in here, you're not holy, you ain't seeing God. You know what that means then? You're seeing the opposite. Anyone know what that is? It's called freaking hell. Now, see, you don't pack, I wanted more of that message, man. Hey, I'm going to invite all my friends. But am I wrong? I mean, I even looked up commentaries thinking, well, maybe there's a little spin on words, No, without holiness, if you are not holy, you will not see God. So here's my thought. We get off the tracks, follow me here, all of a sudden, and this is what happens. Okay, great, Joe, I want that holiness thing. So now we'll Google holiness, and you know what would be really cool? What if we made a Christian Google site, so when you Google it, it's actually legit stuff coming up? I gotta write that down. Anyway, sorry. See, again, this is how my mind works. I have ideas all over, little pieces of paper around my bedroom. But here's the thing. We'll say, oh, that's what I need. So we'll go. Richard Foster's, spiritual disciplines. There we go. And I've done this. Oh, man. Kent Hughes, The Disciplines of a Godly Man. And you guys, you know what I did? I read every one of those things and cheated on my wife repeatedly. Got high every chance I could get. Drunk probably once a week. Oh, I'd feel guilty, and I'd go back, Kent Hughes, there we go, read that one, Disciplines of a Godly Man, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I get more books, okay, Richard Foster, oh, there's a new one, and you should see my library. And why wasn't it taking? Because, did you notice I got the order wrong? Here's the key. Pursue Jesus Christ. Whatever that means for you, pursue the daylights out of that man. There. Now you take care of it. You do. See, Shane, I don't understand it. And okay, now you need to do this. You got to pray. Don't we do that sometimes? Man, if we could just challenge them to pray 5 minutes. We won't do it unless something hits us. I need that guy Jesus Christ in my life. Young people. I put this at the very end thinking I might not go here. I feel like going here. Everything I did to destroy my marriage, my family, screwed over my kids. How many junior hires do we have in here? Middle schoolers. Okay, high school? I was doing at your age. Did you hear that? Everything. Cheated on girlfriends right and left. I had multiple. Any chance I could have sex? Now, I didn't have intercourse. Oh, that was my little spiritual loophole. Jeez, please. Did everything else but that. But see, I'm a virgin. I don't think God was impressed. Lying. Okay, listen, guys, listen. Let's just cut right to it. I'm not saying you got to come here every time, bare your soul to the Lord, be on your face, sobbing, all this kind of stuff. Can I tell you the biggest mistake I made? It wasn't smoking weed. It wasn't this, wasn't that, all those little things. Guys, I was in church every single, my mom took me to Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, every church camp, every Friday night, Christian concert, the whole 9 yards. Here's the biggest mistake I made. I thought I had time. Mom, come on, Joe. I'm in junior high, dude. I'm in high school, man. Come on. Later on. Can I tell you why that's a mistake? You're practicing. And we get good at it. I spent a lifetime practicing being a full of crap liar. Angle this, loophole that, and look what I did. Well, yeah, we're married, but see, we're technically married because we just got married because I got her pregnant, so we're doing the right thing now. It wasn't because I was in love with her. And then, now we're married in the sight of God. Now I got this ring on, see? And then, boy, that's going to be holy, and God's forgiven us, and He's blessed us. Please. So just take it for what it's worth, guys. Holiness is important. Now, here we go. I believe as families go, so goes the church. And here's the problem for some of us today. The way God has set it up, the man leads the family. Listen to this real quick, Michelle. If I have any old school Chicanos in here, you'll dig this one, man. Okay, that's good. You can stop. Here's why I had us play those two. First song, 1972. I was 10. You know what I thought? I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. If you would have told me by the time What a Man came out, I would be divorcing my wife, destroying my family, screwing over my career, I would have said, what? No. That's wrong. Adultery is wrong. That's in the no. How do you get there? Well, take all this, just wad it up and go, whatever, I got time, and then, okay. So guys, here we go. Here's where I'm going to land the plane. We share only one title with God. Men, what is it? Oh, I love this. I was hoping nobody would answer. Ready? Father. I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think it's an accident. God said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to replicate me on earth. And I want to make these guys called fathers. And think of how the way he had it set up. It's going to be perfect. These men are going to be godly. They're going to lead their family. Their wives are going to adore them. Because you know why? These men are going to look just like me. They're going to love their wives, respect them, speak kindly, treat them like equal. They're going to be, and then when they look at their kids, they are going to be this, and they're going to provoke their kids to anger. I don't even need to write that verse because he didn't need that verse because, see, that's the way he had it all set up. So what did we do? Screwed it all up. So I want you to think about that. Fathers. So, guys, here's where I'll wrap this up. 100 times a day, we have to choose, men, who we're going to serve. And I'll just give you a heads up. Like the Bible said, you can't have two masters. So you're either going to serve society, cool, culture, race, all that kind of stuff, familia, the barrio, all your friends, whatever it is, this and that, your team, your teammates, your bros, all that stuff, or you're going to serve Jesus Christ. And then here's a problem. I'm not going to lie. All doggone day long, you're going to have to keep choosing that over and over. It's exhausting, over and over. But you know what? You're practicing. Pretty soon you get pretty good.